Alright, so last video I talked about needing to find a way to diagnose this door. We actually spent some time doing some research trying to find if I could get another door somewhere that I could rip apart, and the short answer is no. None of the pick-aparts that we can drive to even have Bronco IIs or a Ranger from the year range that we need. I still haven't been able to find any good parts, and I still haven't been able to source any junk vehicles that are within a range that I'd be willing to pay for that I could use to donate parts to this one. So we're in a situation where we've got to use exactly what's here on this table, and there's not really any way to get around it. So to see how these parts work so I can understand what the door's doing, I went and got an Endoscope from Amazon. It's a Depths Tech. I'll include the model numbers later on in the video, but this is a really cool little tool. You can see it's got a nice big screen so you can see whatever the camera is looking at, although it's not in focus because it's a very near field camera. And we're going to stick this thing in the door and see what we can see about the mechanisms, if there's anything obviously wrong. And hopefully understand a little bit better what's going on so that when we go with my plan B to design new fittings for this door and 3D print them, I have a good understanding of what needs to go into the fittings to make everything work. Alright, there's the latching mechanism. That looks like the missing latch that goes up to the door plunger that we don't currently have right now. It's just kind of gone. So we follow the latch arm from the inside door handle to the lock module. And here we can see, interestingly, it's a metal connector. But there's there's something off frame here. Oh, look, there's another plastic fitting. I don't know what that fitting is to, though. I can't really see if I can get it in. There we go. So that's a plastic fitting whose function I do not know. If I had to guess, I'd say it's keeping all of that fluff they wrap the metal rod in out of the latch mechanism. But this latch is interesting because most of the fittings that I've seen in the door are plastic. If you want to pull that handle for me real quick, so there we go. All right, slowly. All right, that's good. So looks like there's a little bit of play in the latch. I'm going to change the camera's perspective here. We're going to go in from the top and see if we can't get a good look down on the latch, because I think the latch has a lot of play in it, and that might be part of our problem here. All right, can you run that latch slowly through its entire track here? Okay, that's good. So, let me see if I can turn the light up and get a better... I need a good angle. There we go. I think I can see what's going on. All right, can you run it halfway open? And then back. Okay, so it looks like yeah, there's a little bit of play, but it looks like it's engineered in. It's not, I don't think it's enough to keep the door from working, but 40 years of going back and forth like that has worn the hole into an oval. It looks like it's about 1/8 of an inch of play along the entire length of the cable. And the cable itself is willing to pull in and out a little bit during its run. So I don't even know if it's appropriate to call this a cable because it's more of a really thin bar stock. But that's some of the play in the door mechanism, but I don't think it explains all of the problems we're having opening the door. So let's back this out and take a look at the handle and see what's going on with the handle itself. There's the other end of the connector coming from the handle. Would you give that handle another tug? There we go. So that fitting looks like it's in perfect condition. So there's no play on this side at all. There's maybe 1/8 of an inch of play on the other side. And that means that the issue is potentially directly with the handle or the latch on the bodywork, both of which are independently replaceable, thankfully. So now the other problem we've been having with this door is the front handle behaves as if it's locked, but if you bring the camera around, you'll see that we've got a lot of problems to solve here, but we are missing a lock cylinder, and this handle behaves as if it's locked, or at least not connected to anything. So, and this is a recent behavior that started setting up. It didn't do this when I bought the truck. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to roll the window up and try to take a look at the front door handle. But while we roll the window up, I'm just going to go ahead and, for the heck of it, I'm going to film the window mechanism inside the door moving through its range. Let me get a good look at the gearing here, because these window mechanisms are actually pretty cool. There it is. All right, so that little cup shape inside the door is the small driver gear that's hooked directly onto the back of the door handle. Now when the door handle rotates, you'll see, if you'll go ahead and spin turn the crank on the door, you'll see the main radial gear start to move through its range as you turn the door handle. So that's rolling the window up. And when the handle stops, it's because right there we hit the end of the window track and the window's actually in as far as it will go. But there's no mechanism to stop you from over-rolling the window except for a small, maybe half-inch piece of the radial gear that doesn't have any receiving teeth on it. Now that we've got an open entry, we can try to look at the door handle right here, and there it is. There's the door handle latch. So it would appear that one of the little pieces of door arm that I found is actually, one of the little connecting rods inside this door is actually from the handle, because there's nothing connected to it. Will you pull the handle for me real quick so I can make sure this is the right one? Yeah. So the outside handle is missing its connecting rod completely. And that means that this guy right here, let me see if I can get my hand in there. If that moves, yeah, there it is. So we got, oh no, we got two down here. That's it. I just figured it out. Okay, so there's two empty receivers here. This one is a switch. So that locks the door. So when you push that unlocked the door. So when you pull your plunger up, this guy pulls up too. And when you push your plunger down, this guy drops down, and that locks the latch on the door so that it won't operate at all. And in fact, that might well have been part of my problem. Let's see, so this, if I'm right, this is unlocked. And then this, let's see, this pushes up, or it pulls up, or it should pull up at least. It just takes more tension to make it do, I think, what it needs to. No, there we go. So this, when you lift your door lever up, this module comes down and smacks into this guy. Okay, so that is the unlocked position. So this, back the camera up again. I'm doing three things at once here. I apologize if the probe's perspective is lousy. All right, learning how this stuff works is kind of fun. So that is locked. And when you operate your outside door handle, it comes down and it hits this top latch and it won't go any further. But when you move this guy down, which I assume means you've pulled your door plunger up for whatever reason, I'm sure there's some funny little connectors that make all that happen. Then this works, maybe. Or maybe I'm just not strong enough to operate it in the unlocked mode. possible too. But it's really easy to pinch your fingers in there, so I'm going to back the camera off. And I'm going to see if we can figure out what the hell is going wrong. So we have two fittings that were in the door, one of which I assume goes to the latch. I think it's this guy, because the other fitting, this guy, very clearly has a lock plunger on the end of it. Now, I'm thinking that the lock plunger guy fell off because this fitting broke, and these fittings play a role in, I think, retaining the connectors to keep them from falling apart. So I'm going to pull out the endoscope and I'm going to see if I can get this guy to plug back in the way that he's supposed to. So we'll start with the inside connection right here. And if I remember correctly, it was the upper one that we need to work. So I'm going to thread. This guy in. And I'm kind of guessing as to what the correct orientation here actually is. Just a flying guess, but I think this guy hooks in right here. And then there we go. All right. So now, I'll take that back. So now that connector that fell out is hooked in. And you can see it run all the way down to the top latch, and I hope I did that correctly. So I should be able to feel the door working now when I pull the lever. Just slowly work the outer door handle. Okay, I think I see what the fittings are there to help prevent. So the connector, because there's no fitting to help hold it in, is twisting on its own play. It might still open the door, but eventually it's going to find a way to jump back out of its connector. That's the loose fitting that was inside the door that I pulled out. That fitting came off when the outside door handle stopped working. So that's what's responsible for the outside door handle being odd. Which means that the mechanism for the inside door handle is still mostly functional. So the problem that's going on with the door is either the latch connection or the handle out here that's keeping us from opening the door from the inside. And to fix the outside door handle, we absolutely need to have some type of a fitting or another solution that will help hold that connector in place. So that's what I need to figure out next. In addition to potentially replacing the handle in the latch module. So I guess I'll see you guys soon.